Hi everybody, Automaton here. In this video I will share with you what came out of my farm's inspection. Good farm positioning was overlooked for a long time. In the Titans, pro players used to build farms hastily, not stopping to think or care about how much of a disadvantage that was. Then, slowly, the community learned, and after years of studying, we developed the windmill farm placement. By the way, guys, yes, it's a windmill. And that was the end. With such a perfect, unbeatable, perfectly aligned placement scheme, the beautiful science of farm theory reached its peak and became useless. Such science would then remain crystallized as the pros' brains would lazily gloat, growing complacent with their perfect windmills and their steady food income. The science of farm theory, now long forgotten, waited patiently, longing for a return, waiting for a world-shaking event that would revolutionize all. And in the 4th of September, the world was indeed shaken. With the release of Retold, farm theory finally emerged from its slumber, and... No, wait. Guys, seriously? Come on, it's a new game! How can we keep doing the same mistakes over and over again? Fine, I'll do it. Come out from theory. You deserve it. In the Titans, farm worked very differently from Retold. It's not very common to stop and actually look at the farm, because, let's be honest, we really like fighting. Why would we look at the villager plowing? It's boring as hell. But if you were to actually stop and look at it, you would see that the villager moved around the farm quite a lot. But why does it matter? Well, obviously for walking time, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. In the Titans, resources gathered were counted only after the gathering animation was completed. This was true for everything, from berries to wood and gold, and led to very odd mechanics. If you collected 2 wood with every swing of the axe, and had 15 carrying capacity, after 7 axe swings you would have to perform an extra axe swing just to collect that 1 missing wood. That is a waste of time. If you were to modify that to 30 lumber carrying capacity, which is just double, that wasted time would go away, because you will collect double the wood in 15 axe swings, not 16. This meant that the resource upgrades will not give the flat 10% that was intended, but various rates depending on if the combination between resource per second and resource carried was nicely adjusted or not. To make an example, laborer gold rate was 0.82. Since animation is 2 seconds long, the rate was 1/64 per animation. And since carry capacity is 10, he would have collected 9.84 gold with 6 animation, and then he had to make a full 2-second animation just to collect that last 0.16 gold. This means that more of 90% of that last animation was idle villager time, meaning the actual gather rate was not 0.82, but rather 0.71. Now, with pickaxe, gold per second became 0.9, and thus gold per animation became 1.8. So, with pickaxe, you'd have 8 animations to get 14.4 gold, and that last animation needed to gather 0.6 gold was only 67% wasted. This meant that pickaxe on laborers changed gold per second from 0.71 to 0.83, which is a 17% increase, not the 10% the game files stated. Then, shaft mine will bring the gold rate to precisely 1 and carry capacity to 20, giving almost perfect efficiency for animations. With 2 gold per animation and 20 carry capacity, you will have 10 animation, wasting none of it. the actual gather rate would skyrocket from 0.83 to 1, which is an incredible 20.4% more. These inconsistencies were so unintuitive that noobs wouldn't know the upgrade research was almost useless or extremely great. And the pros would, by studying the game or just by dumb luck, have even more of an advantage on them. For example, I could be an Egyptian player with a personal liking on the shop mine upgrade, and that, unbeknownst to me, would make me stronger than the Egyptian player of the same level who used to stop at pickaxe level for a while. Where does this bring us? Oh right, farms. Farms were no exception. For example, irrigation will give slightly less than 6% increase, instead of the stated 10%. The inconsistencies with animations were so big that husbandry, an upgrade that only doubles carrying capacity of food with no effect on farms despite lowering walk time, was actually stronger than the first farm upgrade, plow. I wouldn't be surprised to see pro AoM players still prioritizing husbandry over plow in Retold. Luckily for us, now husbandry affects chicken too, so we don't really have to think about it. But this was not the only problem or inconsistency with farms. You see, this inconsistency was bad enough, but was fair. With enough knowledge, you could be on par with your opponent. But there was another problem. Let me show you by stalking an unaware villager. Oh yes, look at that. Such a beauty. Oh, come on! Alright. Let's stalk the villagers from the skies. Gods can be punished, right? Right? While farming, we can clearly see that the villager wanders around, apparently randomically, to plow these 4 quadrants of the farm, performing one animation in the said quadrant, and then moving on to another. But why is that bad? Well, to begin with, if the last animation was done in one of the 2 4 quadrants, then the walking time to deposit would have been huge. And secondly, the quadrant choice was random. You could have a game with enormous walking time and the enemy would have a game with perfect food collection. And none of the 2 players would know or understand what had just happened. In fact, the most efficient farm possible was this monstrosity. In the farm 9000, every quadrant position was the nearest possible to a drop point. But this was dumb, took a lot of space, and was very costly. Yes, I know the ratio between granaries and farms get close to 1-on-1 the more you build, but that's beside the point. Now, luckily for us, Retold reworked significantly resource collection. Villagers now gather resources in every single moment, not just at the end of their animation. This means that every upgrade will give exactly the precise amount of bonus percentage that the states will be doing. And if the villager gets the full load before completing the animation, it will just interrupt the animation and go instantly to drop the resources off at the drop site. This leads to a very funny interaction. Increasing the collecting speed too much in the editor makes villagers seem to have standing seizures, because they can only perform a small percentage of the animation before dropping off and restarting again. But the really big change in Retold regards farms, not resources in general. Retold devs scrapped the wandering the farm mechanic and standardized collection by making the villagers only collect at the center of the farm. This is probably part of the developers' effort to standardize everything. They changed all these things to avoid the inconsistencies I described before, that are dumb, unintuitive, and unfair. But with farms, they actually made a little mistake. You see, the actual gather point is a circle at the center. This can be easily inferred by trying to gather from different angles. The rest of the farm is useless to the gathering, it's just to graphically depict a farm and the non-buildable area. This collecting circle means that the villager will not be at the exact center of the farm, but near the perimeter of said circle. This has many consequences. Firstly, it has made town center farms so incredibly good. Now villagers working at the farm can get so close to the town center that they barely do any walking time. This, coupled with the hunt nerf, since now we have no hunting dogs, makes the farms in Retold so much better than they ever were in the Titans, with hunt being almost outclassed by chickens. One could even make the point that chickens are better than hunt because they keep themselves close to the granary, and because to go get hunt you have a decent walking time. Sad. But enough with the chicken, and back to our main argument, the goats. As I was saying, the goats... Oh no, wait. Farms. It was farms, okay. The second consequence of this slightly off-center collection circle for farms is that now the corner farms of town center have 2.44 seconds of walking time against the almost instantaneous one of the perfectly close one being more than 10 times longer. This is not only because the central farms are closer, but also because the farms is square-shaped. You see, in every square, the diagonal is always longer than the side. The diagonal of a square is calculated by multiplying the side with the square root of 2. This formula is derived using the Pythagoras theorem. Square root of 2 is 1.41. This means that the diagonal is more than 40% longer. Adding the central circle only makes things worse, because the radius of a circle is the same in every direction, and taking away a fixed number from both walking distances only unbalances the ratio even more. The perfect collecting area is not a circle, and will not even be a square, but this superellipse that can be easily generated from Gieli's superformula using these parameters. Using this superellipse, the walking time will be almost identical between side farms and corner farms. But since I didn't get to work at the game, we are stuck with the circle and the need to understand how to minimize walking paths and thus resource loss. Thanks, General Melagius.
I am Lord and Master here.
I know. So, we have learned that the central town center and granary farms are great, and that walking diagonal is suboptimal, making the corner farms worse, and distant corner farms even worse. With laborers and no upgrades, every 14 times the central farm delivered the food, the corner farms have delivered it 13 times, making the central farms 7.7% faster. If you upgrade the farms, the difference becomes even greater, as the villagers will spend less time in the farm and more time bringing the food. This is equal to the Black Lotus relic bonus, or bust upgrade. While may not seem much, it is actually a lot. Even having 50 food more means you can build one more unit, which in a fight can kill one more enemy unit, and well, we all know how easily things snowball in Age of Mythology. Such a little thing can easily tip the balance off. So, should we stop making corner farms? You can't! 8 farms per town center is too little. You need more to sustain production. As I was saying, should we stop? Well, it all depends. Making corner farms is not too big of a deal, but it really damages you. If you need more than 24 farms, there are 100% efficiency alternatives. As a Greek or Egyptian, you can make 4 farm granaries. Just make sure that the farms are in this windmill shape. As Norse, you can do 4x4 squared farms with 1 ox cart in the middle, as you don't need to care about the diagonal working time, because the ox will sit inside the farms, not outside like the granaries do. Even if you make the windmill farms in a hurry, you can recover them quite easily if they are in your base town center, without endangering the farmers. I do not advise it for forward bases or naked town center though. The center farms are enough. Making only 8 farms on proxy town centers and moving the corner farms in the main town center also has 2 upsides. Firstly, if you lose 1 TC, you lose only 8 farms, not 12. And secondly, if you happen to have more than 12 villagers collecting from air doubles in your main city, while transitioning to farms, you don't have additional walking time to move them away from there. There is one downside though. While Egyptians only have to invest some villager idle time to build granaries, Greeks have to pay idle time and 50 wood every 4 farms, and Norse have to pay 50 food, 50 wood on top of villager idle time. As the game goes, you should always prefer earnings over time over a fixed price. This is the same reasoning behind never stopping villager production. You pay a price, and with earnings over time, you get the resources back and even more. But the Norse here feel really scammed, as investing 100 resources plus villager idle time to build the ox cart for only 4 perfect farms may be too much to afford during the game. So, with Egyptians, it's safe to say you should do it right off the bat. As soon as you get to transition to farms, you can do the extra granaries. With Greeks, while it is pricier, I maintain the same opinion. But I really struggle with Norse here. 100 resources every 4 farms might be too much to spend early game, and are probably better invested in more units or tech to win a particular fight, or in teching up your economy, or in aging up to get that game-changing god power. So, let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you for reaching this far. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned to play better. This video took me a long time to produce, so if you like the content, please support, as I need to make this worth it if I want to continue. Let's make together AoM Retold the best RTS ever. As of now, you can support me in just 3 ways: subscribing to my YouTube channel, subscribing to my Twitch channel, and joining my Discord, where I will put up good stuff and you can interact directly with me if you wish to. I will occasionally play team games and organize private tournaments when we reach a decent number of people. We are already 20, so come say hi. We're waiting for you. The link for the Discord will be in the pinned comments, and that subscribe button, well, you can find that out. I believe in you. This is all for today. Take care, and I will see you around.